behind the scenes with sports teams around the country. Jeff's night job is very visible with some of the most popular sports teams here in the Valley. But late in the fourth quarter, with the victory bell all but rung, disaster struck for the Sun Devils at their own 16-yard line. The earliest road game in ASU men's basketball history took the team to San Diego. All week, the talk had been of avoiding the disaster of last year's road debut at Nebraska, but things did not start out well last night for the Sun Devils. Brett Wallace is following in the footsteps of several other former Sun Devils who made their way from the fall leagues to the big leagues. The Coyotes hosted the Chicago Blackhawks last night. Last time the two teams met was early in the season. Chicago won that game and then fired its head coach the next day. But if you ask the fans here at University of Phoenix Stadium's Great Lawn about ESPN's rankings, they'll tell you that they're way off. And well, what do ASU football, ASU basketball, and the Suns all have in common? The answer is a voice. Recently, I met the man behind the mic.
California headline news.
You probably know the voice, if not the name or the face.
Caused by a bonfire, some teenagers.
Jeff Scott is the news director for Skyview Networks and anchors morning newscasts heard throughout Arizona and California. Skyview also runs radio networks for more than 20 pro and college sports teams.
Jeff Scott, California News.
But even Valley sports fans who've never heard his newscasts probably know his voice.
His day job mostly works behind the scenes with sports teams around the country. Jeff's night job is very visible with some of the most popular sports teams here in the Valley.
Scott has been the full-time public address announcer for the Phoenix Suns for 4 years and has worked at ASU for even longer, calling both football and basketball.
They called me up and asked if I would try out, and I did, and that was 18 years ago, so we've been showing up ever since.
Alex Espinoza is an ASU journalism junior and a Suns fan who enjoys Scott's work.
Yeah, he's good. I think it's cool. I don't know how he got the gig for ASU and the Suns, but that's awesome. I've even seen him in Diamondback's press box.
Scott says he gets recognized more for his part-time job than he does for his full-time one.
Someone will introduce you as being the public address announcer, which is kind of ironic because as much as I enjoy doing this, it makes up a very small part of my day and a very small part of my income.
But as part-time jobs go, Jeff certainly can't complain. In Phoenix, Adam Ostrow, Cronkite Newswatch Sports. Carl Hayden football practices 3.5 hours a day. They have cheering fans, an enthusiastic band, and a spirited cheerleading squad. What they don't have is a win in the last 6 years. The Falcons have lost 57 consecutive football games, including a 48-0 loss this past Friday to Avondale's La Jolla High School. Despite the losing, student fans like Oscar Cortez continue to support the team.
Not only because I have to, but I want to. I want our school to win or to do the best here.
The team has to deal with limited resources, including a roster of only 27 players. Head coach Cleveland Dansby says much of the problem is economic.
A lot of kids can't afford the insurance. They have a hard time coming up with the money for physicals. A lot of kids cannot afford shoes or football cleats.
Coach Dansby has petitioned the AIA to allow the school to play an independent schedule in hopes of finding opponents more on their level.
An independent schedule would do us well. I just don't see right now, us competing in the 5A2.
But Cortez will keep supporting the team and doesn't think that the numbers make all the difference.
Their ability to play, that's what really counts, not the people, not how many people.
And the team will keep on going, looking to get back in the win column. In Central Phoenix, Adam Ostrow, Cronkite Newswatch Sports. And the Senior Softball World Championships came to the Valley this weekend, and I was lucky enough to meet a wonderful woman who came down from Canada to watch her 68-year-old mother play in the tournament. Maple Leaf pride was on display in the women's 65 and over division. Both finalists hailed from the Great White North. Linda Francoeur traveled all the way from Ontario, and she says she is proud of her mother's dedication to the game.
I think it's great to be committed to a sport for so long, and I think it's important to support her as I would my nephews or nieces playing their sports.
Francoeur's mother, Doreen, has been playing softball, either fast or slow pitch, for over 50 years.
I played fastball for into the 1970s, so I'd been at it then about 20, 30 years. Then I went to slow pitch.
Doreen's dedication paid off this year when her team, the Sportaculars, won the World Championship in their division over the BC Swingers, an old rival of theirs.
Because they're in the West Coast and of course we're so far over in Ontario, we don't get to play each other in Canada. So we end up playing each other when we come south.
Doreen is happy to have Linda supporting her and her team.
She's our best fan, not to mention picture taker, luggage carrier.
I know that right now I'm so glad she plays, and I talk about her all the time.
Because I am really proud.
And the Sportaculars went home with not just that trophy, they were also named the most sportsmanlike team in the whole tournament. Now they've gone to the Tournament of Champions next January in Florida. The Suns have a new coach and a new style, but so far the results are right about where their fans are used to. The Suns are 6-2 on the season so far, and tonight they'll be on national television against Yao Ming, Tracy McGrady, and the Houston Rockets. Game time is at 8:30 p.m. on ESPN and Fox Sports. The Coyotes swept a pair of home games over the weekend, beating the Panthers and Sharks by a combined 8-3. They now sit a game over the 500 mark at 7-6, but still on the outside looking in at the playoffs. Tonight, the Coyotes are in Columbus, Ohio, taking on the Blue Jackets. The Oats beat Columbus in their home opener last month, and right now the game is scoreless in the first period. It's homecoming week for ASU, and the schedule should cooperate, bringing hapless Washington State to Sun Devil Stadium this Saturday. The Cougars are 1-9 this year, winless in conference play. They've allowed over 50 points per game. The 3-6 Sun Devils are 38-point favorites. The game's untelevised. Justin Pedroia is your 2008 American League Most Valuable Player. Last year's Rookie of the Year led the league in hits, doubles, and runs. He becomes the third Sun Devil to win an MVP award after Reggie Jackson and Barry Bonds. Yesterday, he talked about his time at ASU. It's pretty impressive. He's just the third in the program's history. It's Reggie Jackson, Barry Bonds, Dustin